astounding to think about how much care, concern, insight and commitment of our beloved founder St Kuriakose Elias Chavara went into the writing of his book Nalla Appanda Chavarul, the testament of a loving father, a program for renewal and sustenance of families. This year marks 150th year of this book's existence. He wrote this work in February 1868 as a token of gratitude to having been blessed with a wonderful family of charity and justice. Saint Chavara left this work as a testament of spirit and flesh. He left this work as a blessing to the future generations when they render the blessing of a family as unworthy, and also to read it in his memory. Although addressed to a small group of families, the practical directions and guidelines given by St. Chavara are welcomed in umpteen families irrespective of their religious and social affinities. Such authoritative and practical guidelines for the renewal of families, although written in the second half of 19th century, are relevant in contemporary societies. Therefore, the revived interest in the spirituality of St Kuriakose Elias Chavara and his writings make us all rededicate ourselves to work for a family renewal with added commitment.
The only sweet consolation for a person experiencing trials and difficulties in this valley of tears is the membership and life in a family where love, order and peace reign. It is most distressing to live in a family where there is no order or peace, and where often these lead to quarrels, sins, destruction and death. To prevent such unfortunate developments, St Kuriakose Elias Chavara has framed these rules of conduct for families.
The blessing and honor of a family consists in its peaceful existence without any quarrel. It is always easy to retaliate and fight, but we always struggle to forgive each other. Particularly in a family, it is important that we learn to forgive our own before we expect the people outside our families to forgive us. A peaceful family exists longer than a family with discord. It could be as simple as saying sorry to your mother for a fight you might have had with her in the morning before leaving home. It is better to say sorry and forget the matter than extending it to the following day. Hence, it is important that we forgive each other and not hold on to any grudges in a family, friendship, personal or any professional relationships.
Any litigation ruins the family. Families are expected to stay loyal to each other. Hence, to have an issue of a family to go outside in the public only brings ruin and distress within the family members. Like, if the father has divided the property between his children equally, sometimes because of jealousy, one might file a case against the other to take control of the whole property. It is necessary that family understands that even in the most just case, it would have been better if they had not taken the issue to a court. Rather, they should have solved it within themselves. No family has done better filing a case in the court against each other.
In the busy world, it becomes important that families find time for each other. Sometimes, the head of the family has a client meeting or the children have a birthday party, which can all be prevented if the families make it a point to spend weekends and holidays together. Hence, St. Chavara writes that families should keep it as a time for spiritual development, that is, for developing a higher consciousness together than to plunge themselves in other celebrations. Spiritual development involves the development of personality traits to a higher level. These traits include the ability to love, avoiding selfishness, humility, loving one another equally, and so on. At least some time should be spent together in meditation or spiritual development so that families can become strong, not only mentally but spiritually as well.
Money is the root cause of all evils. It brings unnecessary evil into relationships, particularly borrowing money from someone within or outside the family. Even if you are in a dire need to borrow money, it is important that you ensure to repay the debts than holding on to it for a long time. St. Chavara writes that a family without debt is the richest family. He adds that if there are any debt left by parents, then children should discharge them zealously. Many internal family disputes rise because of money. Hence, by avoiding or timely clearing your debts, family peace can be maintained.
Do not show off your wealth and power. We live in a diverse society where some have everything and some have nothing at all. It is important that we understand this so that we don't insult or demean an individual who comes from a different background. St Chavara writes that whoever styles himself as rich will soon have to beg. For instance, in a classroom, it is necessary that we dress modestly than in the most expensive manner. This way, we are not establishing a code of dressing for everyone or making another jealous. This way, not only are we living modestly, but are also acknowledging people from different backgrounds.
Do not spend more than what you can on festivals and celebrations. Sometimes it's a big burden on families to buy new dresses and go out for dinner on every festival or celebration. Children have so many demands and parents try to fulfill each and every one of them. This might not be possible every time because of some financial difficulty. Try and involve yourself in the family matters so you know how much to spend for a birthday or for a festival. Hence, by spending less when you have more, it becomes easy to have a guilt-free celebration. It is better to light a small lamp and keep it longer than blaze a haystack and light up for a short time.
Do not waste time going around the houses of others and seeking information about them. In other words, do not interfere in others' lives unless someone has asked your opinion. Instead, you can spend that time to learn about your family and yourself. Saint Chavara, in his Testaments of a Loving Father, adds that if we discharge our own responsibilities properly, then we will not have any time to look into affairs of other people.
Do not contract relationships with disorderly families or live with no fear of the God. The Testaments further emphasize on how families with God-fearing people will enrich itself with joy and helpfulness. Before committing yourself to somebody, it can be really pleasant if they come from the same enriching background as yours.
Do not let all sorts of people freely move in or around your house. It is important to realize who you invite to your house, especially at a time when you cannot trust anyone and everyone around you. It is important that you filter your guests. The Testament of a Loving Father emphasizes on letting only the courteous people enter the house than a stranger.
A home is a safe place, and it is essential that you don't discuss somebody else in your safe abode. A home is not a place for indecent talk, misbehaviors and uncharitable criticisms of a friend or other people. This is applicable not only at home, even in a classroom. Avoid talking about someone without their knowledge, because the punishment for this will fall on your home and closed one.
Keep an account of the assets that belongs to you. Avoid acquiring things by stealing or by taking without another's knowledge. There is no need to acquire more wealth through wrong means. It is better to assess the possessions of a family through quality than quantity. For instance, be happy with the phone you have and do not be jealous of the smartphones that your friend has or try to steal the same from your friend.
Laziness is the mother to all vices. It is rightly said that an idle mind is a devil's workshop. Therefore, work diligently because there is no shortcut to success. Avoid any such habits like drinking, smoking, or using too much of your gadgets in your spare time, and instead use your time productively, because a second wasted never comes back.
Be more zealous about other people loving you than fearing you. Do not let anyone who enters your home go empty-handed. It does not necessarily have to be money, but it can be about how you make the other person feel. Treat everyone equally and do not refrain from giving alms whenever you can. Along with this, in the Testament, you can read that an individual who pursues a business should do it very carefully and justly rather than by deceit. This is mainly because an unjust trader has never maintained a steady progress in life. So be it in a classroom, in an office space, make sure that you are zealous about other people loving you than fearing you.
Every day is a new day, and one should consider it obligatory to render some good work every day. You can make a decision to help someone cross the road, or offer to carry someone's bag, or lend your bus seat to someone who really needs it. Charity does not necessarily have to revolve around money. It can also be the way we treat a stranger or a friend.
Extravagance and miserliness are both evil. Learn to draw a line when you're spending your money. There has to be a balance maintained between the two. Money cannot be used to purchase happiness, but it can be used to help another human being. Lead a life of balance and spend the money adequately than to show off your richness, as Sukanya mentioned earlier.
Do not have many friends. Choose your friends wisely, because it is not the numbers that matter. It is only in times of difficulty that we realize who our truest friend is. They need to be someone who is supportive, non-judgmental, loving, and honest most of all.
Do not let stolen things remain in your house even for a short while. In other words, do not steal or get other people's property without their permission, because you will be consumed with the guilt. If you have taken somebody's property without their permission, then make sure that you return it and apologize. Also, the testaments add that we must neither be with someone who steals.
Do not belittle or humiliate the poor. Be thankful to those who render their services to you. After having your food, do not wait for the housekeeping staff to pick the leftover. Ensure you throw it yourself in the dustbin. However, in case of an emergency, you can always just leave them to clean up after you, but do not belittle them or forget to show your gratitude. In the future, when you begin your own business or become manager, ensure to pay fair wages, be just to the economically poor class, and never deprive them of their rights.
The worth of a family consists in its holiness and fear of the Almighty. Such family will enjoy divine blessings both in this world and the next. Slander and vulgar conversation at home will darken the light in good families. In order to maintain the stability within the family, it is very much important that each family spends productive time together, both physically and spiritually. Have a time of family prayer or even have a family dinner together without fail will result in happiness within the household. Be exceedingly chaste, modest, and careful in all your movements, whether sitting or walking or lying or playing. At a time when teenagers have access to mobile phones and internet, it is important that one understand one's body efficiently. Immodesty can lead to unnecessary problems for the individual as well as the family.
When diseases, trials, difficulties face you, resign yourself to the will of the Almighty. There is no point of losing your calm at times of trouble. Having patience is the key to face any difficulty that life has stored for you. Nothing is permanent in this world. Hence, all things, including bad and good moments, shall pass. Therefore, it is important that you remain calm and patient at a time of intense difficulty, like an examination or admissions time.
Books of wisdom and philosophical knowledge help us to increase our devotion, and they form a treasure which can be fruitful at all times. St. Chavara believes that one must read such books according to our capacity and not indulge in books that would corrupt our minds. In a world like ours, it is necessary that we are updated with the current events. Hence, reading newspapers can also benefit our existence.
St. Chavara advises families to spend most of their time productively, which includes spiritual development, reading good books and scriptures, visiting the poor, and in exercising charity in general.
Engage only with those who have a value system than with someone of loose morals. Ensure that you have those who are honest, kind, compassionate, loving, gentle, and so on. Employ a virtuous person as a maid or a laborer at home and treat them equally.
Be careful to go to sleep in time and also rise punctually. St. Chavara opines that all should get up at least by 6 o'clock. It is better to start the day with a prayer, a time of meditation or physical exercise. No one should skip their breakfast, which should be had by 8 a.m. No meal should be skipped, and in the evening, a family should come together for the time and prayer. This routine should not be interrupted for any reason. After 8 o'clock, have supper and then think about the day you had. Say a short prayer and then go to sleep. This way, you are not only analyzing your day every night, but you're also being thankful for your existence and leading a simple yet meaningful life.